So, I'm going to be trying out my Ryzen build. I guess you guys can always tell when it says Barb. But I overclocked it to a 3.8 rather than a 3.7, which doesn't sound like it's going to make that big of a difference, but I was just playing a game before it crashed. I did a little bit of overclocking on the GPU, which Fortnite does not accept. So do not do overclocking on your GPU, it will randomly get crashes. Overclocking on your CPU, totally fine. Fortnite doesn't care. I can actually prove that I have no overclocking on my my core clock right there, 0. And then here's the CPU, the CPU temp 55, my GPU 74. Anything under 80 is perfectly fine. The front panel is on, which is the same as the CyberPower case, it's just the mini version of it. The holes are drilled into it, so it normally sits pretty low. It never goes over 75, so totally safe limits. Going to be... I was thinking about drilling more holes, but I think it's actually kind of pointless. So we're going to do an all epic test, what currently on, and then we're going to do a shadows off, and then do all low except for epic view distance. And then we'll do a textures epic with view distance. I think I want to go whaling. Not very many people land there, enough to make it so I might get into a fight. Try to do it all in one game, hopefully. This is definitely, like, the best cheap gaming PC you can possibly build. Maybe a cheaper alternative would be the RX 570, but... yeah, like I bought the cheapest 1060 you possibly can, the Gigabyte Mini, which has an internal clock of 2113, I believe is what it's at. Mine's set back to like 1800 and something, so it's not even nearly close to what its max is, but I noticed that I get no bottlenecking, even with it being that low. It's an all-around great card. With it only having one fan, temps stay pretty reasonably low. Also, just keep in mind this isn't my regular setup, so if I screw up, it's because I'm always using different keyboard and mouse and different bindings. I don't want to change them on my girlfriend, in case she ever decides to come back and play this game. She plays Subnautica like crazy, which I should do an actual benchmark on that. That game actually runs pretty well on this. Over 100 frames. Alright, let's do some switching around here. Get crushed by a pistol. Embarrassing. Well, that was a waste of mini. I was hoping I could get a little bit more juice. Let's play the switching around like guns game. Perfect. Let's take a look at the temps. Shall we? 72, 58. Now, so we'll say we stayed above 60 frames pretty much the entire time. Let's just go outside. Let's do a little switchy I already looted everything. So that place is low FPS because of all the shadows. Out here where you're not seeing so many shadows. That's why I like coming to Whaling. There's a bunch of shadows, and let's do one with shadows off. Show you guys how much of a difference it makes. We're going from 70 up to 150, 160. It's crazy. So now we're saying over 100 frames for sure. No matter what environment we get ourselves into, it will stay above 100 frames. A little bit of lag. My ping just went really high there. And it went back down. Alright, so now let's try switching around a couple more things. Let's do this down, effects low, do the 144 setup on my other PC, the other 1060, and yep, it's about the same. Alright, let's do all low epic view distance. So there's zero bottlenecking. Actually, let's do textures and put post-processing low. And there we go. So even when we're looking off into the distance, still over 144 frames. Close encounters, we can tell when we get close to the left screen of this. Alright, so now let's do all low except for view distance. Not too much of a difference. And again, this is no overclocking on the CPU or the GPU whatsoever. CPU has an overclock of 0.8, and I put up the wattage to 1.30. So totally safe limits. This guy's running out of material. It feels so satisfying getting a kill with this gun. No way. Oh my god, this guy's doing so much nonsense for no reason. I'm just gonna step off the edge, bud, and then let you do what you're gonna do. Pretty simple. Aha! That sucks. Alright, so you guys got the FPS idea. So we saw upwards of 300, the lowest we saw was about 60. So it worked out pretty well. I'm guessing that's the guy who killed me. Dum, dum, dum.